The reason why we chose Passive House was because what we wanted to do is a completely off-grid house. And the Passive House come along, so he mentioned about Passive House and I do a research and all that. And it sounded like the one we want.
I'm Andrew Goy, Director of Goycom Builders. We're at our first certified Passive House project in Outtrim in South Gippsland, which we completed in 2018. A Passive House is a highly efficient building that seeks to reduce energy consumption by as much as 90%. To achieve Passive House certification, we need to be looking at 5 key areas. They are superior insulation, an airtight construction, Passive House certified windows, a HRV system for ventilation, and to eliminate or at least to treat thermal bridges within the building envelope. To achieve Passive House standard, our insulation must be a continuous, unbroken layer of insulation. In this case, in Outtrim, we've got R6 in the floors, R3.5 in the walls, and R6 in the ceiling. And that insulation is a continuous, unbroken layer. Unlike a conventional house, that may not be the case, where you might have R2, 2.5 in the walls, but because it's not continuous, the effectiveness of that is really reduced down to potentially as little as R1.5.
So it's nicely insulated, no draft. When we do need heating or cooling, it doesn't take much to heat or to cool the place. And then it stays cool or stays warm for a long time. I don't have to use too much of the energy that I have collected from the sun. I don't have to do too much of those heating or cooling. The house is comfortable all year round.
Typically a Passive House window will be triple glazed, but not necessarily, depends on the site. But also triple sealed is the important thing. So the window itself is airtight, and then also the important difference with a Passive House certified window is the U value. The thermal conductivity is typically going to be less than 1. A standard aluminium window, for example, might be as much as 8. So a huge improvement in thermal efficiency. I think one of the other benefits of going back to the airtight windows, especially in an urban environment, is the noise reduction. People often describe their houses as being almost soundproof. So you're getting that air quality, not just for breathing, but also for living.
The house is really very quiet. You can't hear much noise from outside. And it's really comfortable because when the rain comes down on the roof, which is iron roof, you can't hear much of it. And it's really terrific.
The other factor is the building itself is airtight. To achieve this, we're using an external and most importantly an internal membrane to make the building airtight. An airtight construction is going to stop cold air leaking in winter, and likewise in summer, allowing the hot air to enter the building. The key when applying any of the membranes in a Passive House is thorough taping. So all these membranes are going to be taped internally and externally over all the joins, the corners, to windows and doors to maintain that airtightness. When we're talking about thermal bridges, this sun canopy is a great example. While it's giving us the shade that we want on this window, it's potentially leaking heat into the building. So behind this cladding on the walls here, we've got a bit of high performance insulation to stop that heat transferring into the building. The final component for a Passive House is the HRV system. This is unique to a Passive House, and it replaces in most houses, for example, a ducted heating system. This is kind of like the lungs of the Passive House. In a conventional house, we'd have extraction fans and a ducted heating system. This is going to replace all of that. The difference is what we've got to do here is we're taking with these grey ducts our exhaust air, a dirty, moist air from bathrooms, kitchens, laundries, while these white ones, they're going to bedrooms and hallways supplying fresh air. It all merges through here. The moist, dirty air is going to be sent out of the building, and then when it needs to balance